TIFU by telling my 7-month pregnant wife about the baby Jaylin trial. Hi all. Obligatory. This happened about an hour ago. I have heard about the baby Jaylin tragedy over the last few days and have seen some TikToks about it while my wife and I were hanging out. Mind you, she's 7 months pregnant with our second kid on the way. She was watching The Bachelor and I was scrolling through TikTok and happened across another video of the trial. I had probably my biggest lapse in judgment and decided to tell her about this tragic story, and she proceeds to melt down and cry harder than I've ever seen her cry in our 7 years together. Inconsolable, crying to the point where she's having a hard time breathing because of it. TLDR told my 7-month pregnant wife about a tragic current event. She proceeds to cry her heart out for the next 20 minutes and there's nothing I can say or do to help. My husband played me a video from Modern Family of the grandpa describing children growing up, ending with a line on how you never know when the last time you'll pick your kid up is. Then made a comment on how fast our son was growing up. This was 2 days after I had a D&C for a miscarriage and my hormones were crashing. I sobbed and sobbed for ages. There's nothing you could do at this point but just love her through the tears. And don't do it again. I am 8 months postpartum and I do not understand why I keep clicking on posts about this case. Because it sends me into a spiral every freaking time. Fuck. Oh my gosh, I just looked this up. That little baby persevered, waiting for someone to save her. And you could have done that with a simple phone call. Instead, I see photos of you on a beach while your child was eating her own feces in an attempt to survive. This is the most horrible thing I've read in a long time. My daughter is almost 2 and just thinking about her in this situation is so awful. I really can't believe that people like this exist. Life in prison is not enough justice for Jaylin. I have seen people talking about this all over Reddit. I have stopped short of reading the articles myself because I have a toddler and would be depressed and devastated. I cannot imagine the evilness of a person that would compel them to do this. There was also a story like this in the UK. A woman left her baby to die when she went out partying. I can't even leave my baby with his father, who is an amazing dad, while I go shopping without spending the entire time thinking about him. I can't even imagine what kind of evil these women are. Oof. Yeah. If there is a silver lining to your situation of telling her bitter you effed up telling her about it now instead of her hearing about it after she has the baby, that would have absolutely ruined me. When I was postpartum, I skimmed an article about it yesterday after seeing a post about it, only skimmed because it was making me so incredibly distraught. I hope that woman is in solitary confinement and is given just enough food to barely survive. I hope she suffers every second of every day until she dies. That's the ending she deserves. Well, of course I looked it up. These stories don't make me weepy. They just make me angry. My parents were awesome. My ex and I are awesome parents to our 2 kids. Is it easy being a parent? Hell no. But if it's not something you can handle, you can't just abandon it. You need to pass responsibility on to someone else. It's why it needs to be a choice. It's one of the very few things in life you can't take back. I came upon a video of it while scrolling Instagram yesterday and just lost it. My 10-month-old was asleep on me at the time, so I was just sobbing silently. So awful. I somehow hadn't heard about this and Googled it. Oh dear gods, that is horrific. I cannot begin to fathom the suffering that poor child endured. No living thing should be treated like that. The mom could have done literally anything else and it would have been better than this. Heartbreak. I'm pregnant and doing it to myself. I can't look away from the content about terrible things happening to children. And then I have terrible nightmares. I don't know why I'm doing it. Someone please take social media away from my for the next 9 months loudly crying. A similar thing happened recently in my country, Italy. A woman left her less than 2-year-old daughter alone and without food and water for 6 days to go to her new partner, who was unaware that the woman had abandoned her daughter alone. Some prison psychologists tried to pass her off as mentally ill. Fortunately, the judge firmly opposed it and she will be tried regularly, receiving the maximum sentence. I wonder what could be going through the minds of these monsters. I don't want to think about what it must be like for such young children to die of starvation. Clearly it wasn't very bright of you to show it to your pregnant wife who is already in the grips. Hormones. Do something very special for her to make her feel how much you love her. I hadn't heard of the case till now and I deeply regret looking it up because I am not pregnant and I am straight up sobbing. So many women were involved in that prosecution. Wow. It's a wonder she made it to trial, tbh. Things are not going to be good for her in prison either. God damn. I hadn't heard about this one. I wish I could go back to not knowing about it. Certainly won't be mentioning it to my own pregnant wife. Really want to go give my daughter a hug right now. But she's safe and happy at daycare and I am at work. I made the mistake of Googling it and now I'm trying to hide tears at work. I just want to rush home to my baby. Scoop him up and never let him go. That creature needs to burn. This case would have always made me mad. But I had a baby 9 months ago and I was disgusted. I have PPD. I have pre-pregnancy depression. And pre-pregnancy diagnosed bipolar disorder. I'm on medications to manage. I've never thought about hurting my child. My sweet, sassy, smart, wonderful little human who looks for me when something makes her laugh. Who comes to me for comfort from the things that scare her. Who sings in her sleep and dances to the Golden Girls theme song. The thought of ever being responsible for any pain and suffering she might experience makes me sick. I spent a long time holding her when we watched the sentencing. I was disgusted by that evil woman asking for mercy. Fuck mercy. Someone should put her ass in a playpen with only a couple bottles of Ensure and see if she lasts 11 days. I saw that shelter pet video with the Sarah McLachlan song in it while I was 7 months pregnant while touring the hospital. I cried for days.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.